On November 2nd, 2025, the Kepner family boarded the Carnival Horizon in Miami, Florida. They were embarking on a 6-night Caribbean cruise set to stop in the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and Mexico before returning to Miami, Florida. For most families, a trip like this is a relaxing vacation. For the Kepner family, it would become the worst week of their lives. Anna Kepner was 18 years old. She was a cheerleader at Temple Christian School in Titusville, Florida. She boarded the cruise ship with her family on November 2nd, but she never made it home. This is her story. Anna grew up in Titusville, Florida, a small city on Florida's coast, about 40 miles east of Orlando. By all accounts, she was a bright, warm presence, the kind of person who made an impression on everyone around her. At her memorial service held in November, her family made a specific request to attendees. Don't wear black, wear bright colors, in honor of Anna's bright and beautiful soul. She was traveling with her father, Christopher Kepner, her stepmother, Chantel Hudson, her grandparents, and a few of her siblings. This was a blended family, and as investigators would soon learn, not an entirely settled one. The Carnival Horizon had been at sea for 4 days. By all accounts, the trip had been normal up to that point. Ports of call, meals together, the ordinary rhythm of a family cruise. But on the night of November 6th, Anna told her family she wasn't feeling well and went back to the cabin. That was the last time her family saw her alive. The cabin she returned to was shared with 2 other teenagers, including her 16-year-old stepbrother. Whatever happened inside that room happened quietly enough that no alarm was raised that night. The next morning, Anna didn't come to breakfast. At first, it might have seemed like nothing. She said she wasn't feeling well the night before, maybe she just slept in. But when she didn't appear, her family started to get worried. They checked common areas, the pool deck, the dining hall, the upper decks. They asked crew members if anyone had seen her. And the longer the search went on, the more alarming it became. But in that frantic search, it wasn't a family member who found her. It was a housekeeper doing her routine rounds. And she didn't find her somewhere she might have wandered off while sick.
Anna spent her last evening with her grandparents in the casino aboard the Carnival Horizon cruise ship. The next morning, they heard a chilling announcement.
They called for a medical alert team to go to a stateroom. And when they said the number, I recognized the number immediately.
A maid had discovered Anna's body stuffed under her bed.
I just screamed. I couldn't stop screaming.
Anna was found hidden under a bed in her own cabin, wrapped in a blanket and covered with life jackets. She had been there the whole time. The ship docked in Miami the next day, on November 8th, with the FBI waiting patiently at the port. When a U.S. citizen dies aboard a cruise ship in international waters, jurisdiction falls to the federal government, specifically the FBI. That's exactly what happened here. The cause of Anna's death was quickly determined by investigators to be mechanical asphyxiation, meaning something or someone physically prevented her from breathing. There was bruising on her neck and evidence suggesting an arm had been held forcefully across her throat. One thing was clear: this was not an accident. The FBI ruled Anna Kepner's death a homicide. Now they just needed to figure out who was responsible. Within days of Anna's death, details began emerging that painted a deeply troubling picture. Signs that, in retrospect, many felt should have been taken more seriously. Anna's ex-boyfriend spoke to reporters after her memorial service. He described witnessing the stepbrother entering Anna's bedroom at 3 a.m. during FaceTime calls. He said he once saw the stepbrother attempt to climb on top of Anna while she was lying down. He also said Anna was scared of him.
Hours before she was found dead on the cruise ship, the sound of a violent confrontation reportedly could be heard inside her stateroom. We're told Anna's 14-year-old brother Connor says he tried to get into the stateroom that he, Anna, and their 16-year-old stepbrother were sharing, but that it was locked. Anna and the stepbrother were still inside, and Connor reportedly says he could hear disturbing sounds through the door. Anna's ex-boyfriend says he spoke to the cheerleader's brother about what happened that night.
You heard him yelling at her, like in a harmful way, of like, shut the hell up and stuff like that. And that's when Connor knew something was going on.
And there was screaming going on.
Yes, ma'am. Like something was like banging around and stuff, and like the chairs were getting thrown around in the room. She just didn't feel safe around him.
It is important to note, at the time of Anna's death, these were allegations made by grieving people in the aftermath of a tragedy. but they were allegations that investigators took seriously. Separately, Anna's stepmother, Chantel Hudson, was engaged in an ongoing and contentious custody battle with the stepbrother's father, Thomas Hudson. And in a November 17th emergency filing, Chantel's attorney wrote to a judge, "The respondent has been advised through discussions with FBI investigators and her attorneys that a criminal case may be initiated against one of the minor children of this instant action." That minor child was the stepbrother.
Good evening, I'm Greg Warmouth.
I'm Martha Sigalski. Anna Kepner's stepbrother is facing charges in connection with her death.
That's right, the 16-year-old was seen walking outside the Miami Federal Courthouse today along with his attorney and family. Channel 9's Ashton Webb breaks down what she found out about this before heading out to breaking.
The stepbrother, who authorities referred to only by his initials TH, was initially charged in early February 2026, but the case was sealed. Because he was a minor, public disclosures were barred by law. On February 6th, he appeared before a federal magistrate, photographed at the Miami courthouse wearing a ball cap and a hoodie pulled tightly around his face. A judge ordered him to wear an electronic ankle monitor while living with an uncle. The order was later amended to allow him to temporarily work with his father at a landscaping business. Then, on March 10th, 2026, a federal grand jury formally indicted him. And on April 10th, 2026, U.S. District Judge Beth Bloom granted the government's request.
Breaking news here into the newsroom. The stepbrother of 18-year-old Anna Kepner, who was killed on a Carnival cruise ship, has been indicted as an adult for her murder and sexual abuse. Kepner's body was found under a bed in her cabin last November. She died of asphyxiation. 16-year-old Thomas Hudson faces life in prison if convicted.
The 16-year-old would be tried as an adult. And because of this new designation, the case was unsealed and the charges were finally made public. His full name is Timothy Hudson. He is charged with first-degree murder and aggravated sexual abuse. His attorney entered a plea of not guilty on his behalf, and his trial is set for June 1st, 2026. As the legal process moved forward, Anna's father, Christopher Kepner, did not stay silent.
Anna's father, Chris Kepner, and his wife, Chantel, who's the stepbrother's mother, told ABC News, "Anna was taken from us in a violent and senseless way, and our family has been permanently changed." The couple goes on to say, "During the investigation, we were advised by the FBI to remain quiet. We can no longer remain silent. Our daughter's life matters, and we will continue to speak out to honor her, to seek accountability, and to ensure that her case is not forgotten."
In media interviews, he expressed something shared by many families in cases like this, the feeling that justice was moving far too slowly. He told reporters, "We're upset that he's still out. We're 6 months in, and he should already have been arrested. And yet, he's free to do whatever he wants right now. That's our problem. He's been able to do whatever he wants and go where he wants. But the family's been sitting here unable to do anything." Federal prosecutors agreed, at least in part. In recent weeks, prosecutors filed to revisit the release conditions, arguing that now that the case had been moved to adult prosecution, the situation had fundamentally changed. They want the judge to either jail Timothy Hudson before trial or significantly tighten the terms of his release. As of the time of this video's recording, that motion is still before the court. Anna Kepner was 18 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her: cheerleading, school, the kind of ordinary future that most 18-year-olds take for granted. Her father, Christopher, has spent every day since November fighting for her, speaking to media, pushing for answers, refusing to let her case go quiet. That kind of grief, the kind that has nowhere to go, is something no parent should ever have to carry. She wasn't a headline. She wasn't a case number. She was somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's Anna Banana. And her family is still waiting for justice.
Anna's family focused now on honoring their granddaughter, a high school senior and straight-A student who planned to join the military.
She had purpose. She wanted to do things. This little tiny 110-pound girl, she was mighty, very mighty.
We were looking forward to seeing her grow.
What do you hope for now in this moment for your family?
I hope that we can heal. Whatever happened in that room, the only person responsible is the person that was in the room with Anna.
What does justice look like for your family?
Whatever the law says, I'm not going to advocate for anything more or anything less.
Thank you for watching this video. And as always on this channel, these are real people with real families and real pain. I cover these stories because I believe that staying informed matters, and because people like Anna Kepner deserve to be more than a headline. I hope you guys enjoyed, and like always, I'll see you next video.